Hi, I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of Regulator. Welcome to this week's regulatory roundup. This week, there were 2,467 alerts from 489 unique U.S. regulators, 686 financial alerts, 540 coronavirus alerts, 31 FinTech alerts, 12 of which were critical, and 16 cannabis alerts. The regulator of the week is the Department of Justice. I admit it, I have a problem. I have totally become a DOJ junkie. Why? Because they have the best takedowns on the craziest topics. It's like watching movies. And that for me includes the federal DOJ, but also the state DOJs and attorney generals. So this week, the federal DOJ announced charges against a bunch of North Korean hackers. And I kid you not, this is what the press release says. North Korea's operatives using keyboards rather than guns, stealing digital wallets of cryptocurrency instead of sacks of cash, are the world's leading bank robbers. Isn't that like a movie? But wait, there's more. A 95-year-old German citizen living in Tennessee was deported back to Germany to face charges for his time as an armed guard in a Nazi concentration camp. And then the state AGs. California is still defending its state net neutrality law in direct defiance of a Trump order and a bunch of internet service providers. And I'm really eager to hear where the court lands. Of course, the news is coming out later today before I'm done filming this, and you're not going to get this till tomorrow. So you will already know the answer, but I'm just still waiting. And then finally, my home state of Washington fined a pesticide company for environmental criminal charges. They claimed their pesticides would eliminate COVID-19 from a house. This was in violation of what their product was confirmed by the EPA to do, which was to eliminate pests. And while yes, COVID is a pest, you can't claim that your product cures COVID unless it actually does, especially if it's also going to kill people. And since we're on the environment, the topic of the week is ESG. ESG stands for Environmental Social Governance. It's a word describes loosely, do-gooding or social impact. But for the last 10 years, there have been huge efforts to better define and measure what ESG really is. ESG has been a hot topic lately because of the administration change. Almost every alert related to the White House, whether it's an executive order or a conversation with a foreign government or even to outline plans for an agency, climate risk and inclusion is everywhere. So this week, the FDIC OIG issued its normal annual report about top management and performance challenges facing the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. And they included this year a 10th challenge that the organization had over the 9 that they identified last year, which was supporting diversity in banking. And then Chairman Brainerd of the SEC gave a speech this week talking about the role of financial institutions in tackling the challenges of climate change. So this whole notion of ESG is not really an emerging hot topic anymore. It's real, with real teeth and real regulators taking it seriously and talking about it from a financial risk perspective, because it's starting to get really risky to pollute, to discriminate, and to not have a strong governance or plan around controlling these things. And the fines in 2020, even under the old administration, were earth-shattering. I mean, it used to be maybe 10, 20 million, but this last year we've seen fines for hundreds of millions and in some cases billions. And remember how I warned you that Biden is going to be naming leaders for over 270 executive agencies that have been dormant for the last 4 years under Trump? Well, this week he signed an executive order reestablishing the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships, which focuses on serving victims of the pandemic, the economic downturn, systemic racism, and the climate crisis. On to Compliance Corner. The Fed revised Regulation EE, which is financial institution netting, which is going to expand the type of financial institutions that get netting protection. My friends in banking who understand what I'm talking about, basically what this means is all of your collateral management systems and your legal documentation systems need to be updated with the new categories. For those of you in crypto, CoinSeed got shut down by the New York AG and the SEC. BitPay settled with Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control for total violations of multiple sanctioned programs around the world. Oops. And then this was fun. The Long Island Iced Tea Corporation has a principal business of producing ready-to-drink beverages. But in 2017, the company changed its name to LBCC and announced that it was shifting its business operations from soft drink production to blockchain technology. Its blockchain business never became operational, yet they were still publicly traded as a beverage corporation. Anyway, the SEC shut them down. In our Fine Tracker this week, it's an interesting week because for once, it's not the financial institutions that are in the hot seat. 11 healthcare employees in Georgia were corralled and charged for trying to screw Aflac, the insurance company, the one with the duck. Anyway, these guys are facing criminal charges for filing false claims for over $120,000. The SEC charged Morningstar, the rating agency, for failures in operational controls around their rating of commercial mortgage-backed securities in 2015 and 2016. For those of you following privacy, FINRA fined 2 people for violations of the SEC's Regulation SP, which is Privacy of Consumer Financial Information and Safeguarding Personal Information. And in state news, the Illinois state governor signed legislation that transforms the criminal justice system. It ends pretrial detention system that benefits the wealthy. It expands training and wellness programs for law enforcement. It modernizes sentencing laws, and it prioritizes treatment and rehabilitation for low-level drug crimes. And for those of you local to New York City, the official project plan for Penn Station has been approved. That's it this week for Regulator's US Alerts. We just finished filming episode 4 of the new show, and I'm still looking for guests. Let me know if you want to be on it, especially if you are a lady or a person of color. See you every Wednesday morning on LinkedIn and YouTube.